I called Donald Trump a wannabe dictator. It's because he is. It's because he is. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully.
Is there something going on that we're missing?
Well, there's a couple of things. First of all, whose balls is he hiding in his cheeks? That's the first question I want to know. And I don't love the way he says, dear.
Everyone's saying it out loud now. The relatable dad routine just blew up, and the smoke is coming from Tim Walz's carefully staged brand. Yes, it happened. Tyrus went full scorched earth on the Minnesota governor, former VP nominee, lawnmower wave, and church picnic potato saladora, and he didn't tap the brakes. He mocked the packaging, ripped open the contradictions, and called out the
left to run and nothing left to hide.
It's because he is. Maybe it's time for us to be a little more fierce. Because we have to ferociously push back on this. The thing that bothers a teacher more than anything is to watch a bully, to watch this bully and to stop it. And when it's a child, you talk to them and you tell them why bullying's wrong. But when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the out of him back. This is a weak, cruel man that takes it out.
Performance for what it is. Theater with better lighting. And we're going to walk through exactly why people are cheering, cringing, and replaying the clips. Because this isn't about a single insult. It's about a pattern you can't unsee once it's pointed out. Here's why this matters right now. Walz isn't just a local figure anymore. He's a national character cast as the soothing voice in a season of political migraines.
Walmart parking lot full of potholes.
Yeah.
A teacher snatches the bully's ass up.
Yeah.
Come sit with me. That's what I know. Someone's bullying. Oh, you can sit with me for a while. And then I would lean on him. I'd bully him back. He's not a teacher. He's not a politician. He's a creepy guy who can't remember his speeches. I don't know what the hell was in the water in that White House, or was everyone on the same bad cocaine? But Kamala can't speak. He can't speak. Biden was so high he couldn't remember anything. Like, this is literally the dumbest administration of all time. Why is he talking?
It really is the ultimate clown show. And I said this in the 5.
When he calls Donald Trump a wannabe dictator, that's not a throwaway jab. That's a governor-turned-national standard-bearer trying to plan a stake. Stakes don't get higher. Leadership, credibility, the gap between the brand and the behavior. And Tyrus? He's not whispering from the cheap seats. He's taking the center mic and saying what a lot of people think but haven't had the baritone to say. If the image is Mr. Calm in a cardigan, why do the receipts feel like a blooper reel? So here's the roadmap. First, we'll crack the packaging. The wholesome neighbor myth that looks good on a billboard and melts.
I feel bad for Elon. I would be furious if I was him. If this is who you sent to troll me?
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing wrong to get the guy from D Team to come out at Family Theater and call me names?
Yeah.
Like, Tim, I would. If they were like, oh, Tyrus, man, tough news cycle. Tim Walz is talking about you. I'd be like, old Timmy?
Under studio lights. Then we're diving into the moment politics stops being press releases and turns into crisis management, pandemic policy, and burning streets, and whether the reassuring dad showed up with a fire extinguisher or a garden hose with a kink in it. After that, we'll hit the wallet and the classroom. Taxes that somehow help workers but feel like a raid on your couch cushions, and schools that got more slogans than results. And somewhere in here, we're going to talk about the act itself. The practiced empathy tilt, the unity monologues, and the way a mood ring would get jealous at how fast the tone shifts. Ready? Keep your seatbelt on. We're not coasting. Let's start with the second best point because it sets the table. The packaging. Picture it.
Pokemon cards. Only this deck doesn't make him a hero. It makes him a punchline.
My tweets, my DMs, like just one arm, and I just want to slap the. He's so weak. He brings nothing. If you were gonna go after someone, man to man, hit him with a fact. Hit him with something real.
Yes.
You don't have anything. And here's the cold part. If Elon called him up and said, hey, Tim, you want a job? He would take it. because that's what spineless. He would, and when he was questioned, he was like, "I was just holding him in account. You know, I respect him, and I'm so happy to be working for X." He is the worst player on their team, and they don't mind sending him out because
They're trying to get him off the table.
Yeah.
They're putting him out early so he can't be a factor later.
A campaign commercial built like a Norman Rockwell painting, teacher, football coach, veteran, a guy who waves from the mower and remembers your kid's name at the hardware store. You can practically hear the screen door slam and the ice clink in the lemonade. Now put that image under stage lights. Tyrus does. He pokes it first, just a little, then he digs in with something sharper than a fact sheet. Jokes that land like evidence. He laughs at the wardrobe choices, roasts the corporate casual costume changes, and then he asks the only question that matters in an authenticity.
Predictions. He zeroes in on the performance itself.
Rachel Levine, look, he has a sports coat and a zip-up sweater underneath. No man wears that.
I may have done that in the past.
Yes.
I
You've
won't
done
now,
that many
Tyrus.
No, and one day somebody's going to explain what a corporate income tax is to these people. It's not paid by this. It's not paid by the corporation. It's not like a building that goes, I've got to pay taxes. It's the
Test. Does it feel lived in or lab built? Because there's a difference between a man who is calm and a campaign that has dialed calm to a brand preset. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The zips, the smiles, the precisely timed head tilt. Suddenly it isn't Minnesota nice. It's Minnesota rehearsed. Here's the application. Packaging is fine when you're selling cereal. Politics is protein. It has to feed people who are tired, anxious, and being asked to trust you while their lives get more expensive. So when a governor stands up and says, be fierce, push back, we're proud of these policies, the follow-up can't be more lighting, more lines, more plaid. It has to be decisions that make sense in the real world. And that takes us to the strongest point, the moment the image either hardens into leadership or shatters on content.
Flames close in.
though.
That's a big red flag. Whenever you meet someone and they have to give you their resume,
yes.
Yeah.
and then as soon as they talk, you're like, that's why you gave me your resume.
Yeah, because it doesn't speak for itself.
You suck.
Yeah. It's like when people have their PhD
Yes.
on their Twitter handle. It's like, you know, this person's completely bonkers.
And their pronouns.
Yes. Are you mad, though, Tyrus, that, like, beards have been kind of co-opted by beta males like Tyler?
No, because
Watch what you
it's
say.
like all. Wait, hold on. Watch what I say. I will around, stick my hand up.
Crisis, you lived it. Pandemic decisions where liquor stores stayed open, but church pews went cold. Gyms locked, gas stations humming. Neighbors memorizing the arrows on grocery floors like choreography while their kids fell behind a screen. Tyrus points to it, loud and blunt, because that's his tool set, but the substance is simple. Did the framework feel consistent, or did it feel like posture? And then the trial by fire, literal fire, after George Floyd's death. Sirens, shattered glass, a city on edge, a national camera pointed at a governor who could not afford hesitation. This is where the public doesn't want poetry, they want a plan. Tyrus paints it in a single image, a 5-alarm blaze and a garden hose, the operator hoping the wind shifts. That's cruel in the comedic sense because it's sticky. But it's sticky because enough people recognize the feeling. If relatable dad is the promise, crisis is the exam, and the grade doesn't come from your press office. It comes from the storefronts that boarded up and the families who slept in their living rooms just in case. Zoom out. The framing here is the expectation versus reality gap. People were sold steadiness. They felt drift. They were told fierce pushback against bullies. They saw scolding words for some, soft drift for others. The audience doesn't sit with a spreadsheet. They sit with a vibe. And when the vibe says stagecraft, jokes become daggers. That's why Tyrus's lines land. They charge straight at the gap. Now, the money. And here's your pattern interrupt because this part makes everyone's eyebrows do push-ups. Corporate income tax isn't paid by the building, he jokes. The bricks don't cut a check. People do. Workers, consumers, families that thought help meant less pressure and found out help often arrives like a raccoon through your window. Messy, alarmed, and leaving you with a bill. Tyrus's angle is crude on purpose. If you're going to flex for the cameras, hit with facts, not flowers. And his follow-through is ruthless. The same worker you swear to champion is the one staring at a bigger number on a tax line and a smaller number left in the checking account. That isn't a white paper. That's Tuesday. Here's where I'll drop the loop you've been waiting to close. Schools. Minnesota was supposed to be the chapter where the former teacher shines. Responsibility, structure, a steady hand on the wheel. Expectations were sky high because the resume said, "I know this world." Reality felt like a substitute teacher gripping the lesson plan while the class escalated in 3 different corners. Scores dipped, fights over curriculum flared, and parents started speaking with a specificity that made people in suits very uncomfortable. If you brand yourself the adult in the room, the homework can't keep coming back stamped incomplete. That's not partisan. That's parental. Let's talk law and order, because the contradictions here could fill an anthology series. Empathetic tone, reform rhetoric, unity language. Then the street turns into a stress test, and the plan sounds like a hope. Tyrus gives it the sitcom treatment. A leader walking into mayhem clapping like a substitute gym teacher. "Okay, guys, let's calm down," as if the chaos is going to listen to a cadence. Comedy is cruel when it's descriptive, and that's the problem for Walz. Description keeps outrunning defense. The frame around all of this is the same story we started with. The promise of steady versus the practice of slippery. One day for, next day against, the flip justified by fresh polling or a new headline. Acrobatics impressive enough for a Cirque audition, except it's not a stage. It's your state. Now, because this is a character piece as much as it is a policy audit, Tyrus does what he does best. He turns the act into a scene you can picture. The empathy rehearsal in the mirror. 30-degree head tilt or 45. The unity sermon that lands like a YouTube pre-roll nobody asked for. I'm just a regular guy, bit sold with cuff sleeves